Good morning, everyone. I'm Kat Moon from the Music City Legal Hackers. I'm here with Larry and Franklin from Nashville, and I don't want to leave. I've been trying to figure out how I can stay longer. If anyone has an excuse that I can give my husband that's plausible for me to stay a few more days, please see me afterwards. And we're actually here to talk about our hackathon experience, and our session is called a workshop. It's really, I think, more of an information sharing session. I personally believe very strongly in connecting dots and making connections between all the work that different legal hacker organizations, the work we're doing. And so Franklin and I wanted to share about our experience planning and hosting the first hackathon that we had in April. And specifically how we use the framework of design thinking to create and execute what it was a pretty damn successful event, thanks to a lot of hard work from a lot of people. So I'm briefly going to talk about the design thinking framework, like 30,000-foot overview, share how we applied it. And I'm doing this primarily so that folks in other places who are planning events maybe can learn a little bit from what we did. I also invite everyone to share with us. I will tell you what prompted my wanting to talk about this is the fact that when we started to plan the event, the first thing I did was jump on Google and try to find information about other events. Like, I'm just looking not for a hackathon in a box, but kind of, so that I could see what was working in other places. And I found some stuff, but not a whole lot of stuff. And I'm a lawyer. I like to have examples and kind of look in the rearview mirror and see what's worked for other people. And didn't find a whole lot of stuff. So I'm very interested in creating some resources for all of us who want to do more of this kind of work. So with that said, we're going to start by sharing a video from the hackathon that Franklin, who, by the way, just came to the hackathon and now gives more time than he should to Music City Legal Hackers.
Yeah, I can't claim any responsibility in actually setting up the hackathon. I was one of those people that just happened to hear about it through mutual friends, and then I met Larry and Kat and some other people that were involved, Lori as well, and from that's how I got involved. So I showed up. So yeah.
Proof that it works. Okay, let's watch the video.
So Legal Hackers is 5 years old. It started in New York City, grew out of a legal clinic at Brooklyn Law School that was focused on pro bono legal services for early stage tech startups. But since then it's grown. Now we have 60 chapters around the world. These chapters host monthly events on all sorts of issues, but a lot of them come down to the things that we were talking about today. Things like disabilities access, things like access to justice. The blockchain, smart contracts come up all the time. I was talking yesterday to two co-organizers in Croatia who are starting their chapter. A week before that in Kiev in the Ukraine. A week before that in Ghana. A week before that in Hong Kong. So this is happening all around the world. So as you guys work today and as you guys come up with your solutions today, realize that they feed into a global movement. And the things that you post, let's say they all get posted up on GitHub, could be used in a far-off jurisdiction to solve someone's problems who you've never met in a place where you've never been. So this is really, really powerful. All the credit goes to you guys for putting this on, the great sponsors, the great stakeholders, and the participants. Code for Nashville is amazing as well. So thank you guys for putting this on.
In general, a hackathon is a community building event. It's a wonderful opportunity to get people of disparate professions and crafts together to learn about one another's context and share skills in pursuit of something. There's immense value in bringing together members of the legal industry and the tech industry, very broadly speaking, so that they can learn new ways of thinking about old and new problems. And that's the thing I take away from this is learning to adapt the hackathon model to focus less on creating software and more on providing value in all kinds of different ways.
Okay, we're going to stop there so we have a little bit of time to talk. But this kind of introduces you to our event, and we're going to actually jump to the website.
We're on the website.
Yeah, you played it from the website. That's right, I added it to the website. Yeah, forgot about that. So we approached planning this event, as I said, from a design thinking standpoint, and kind of three primary components of human-centered design. There is inspiration, ideation, and iteration, and a lot of things that happen in between there, but we were looking for a way to conceptualize and move the event forward to bring as many people from across, frankly, different audiences as possible. And so the first thing we did was look for inspiration. What kind of event did we want to create to try to reach as many people as possible and have as much impact as possible? We're a pretty small group. I mean, there's a core of about a dozen of us who are like full on with it, and then we attract a couple dozen more every meeting, but we want to be much bigger and more impactful than that. So we partnered with Code for Nashville, and I know there are Code for chapters around the US, but they brought tremendous tech resources to us and also connected us with people across different disciplines, which is very important to us as we were moving forward. And I think the most important thing we did in searching for inspiration for kind of what was the challenge we wanted to solve this hackathon was to connect with the director of the Tennessee Alliance for Legal Services. So that's an umbrella organization that serves all the federally funded legal nonprofits in the state of Tennessee. And Ann Pruitt is the director of that, and she connected us with these fantastic legal nonprofits that are doing amazing work across the state. And guess what? They all have problems. I know you're shocked to hear that. But we went to them and said, we want to help you solve some of your problems. We want to bring together lawyers and technologists and designers and anyone who wants to help at our hackathon. And most of them looked at us like, we have no idea what you're talking about. Here's where I want to make the point. That everyone in this room gets it, and we all speak a common language. What we quickly realized in talking to others and reaching out is that most people do not yet speak this language. And so our goal really became, how do we craft communication? How do we reach these people who don't yet speak our language? And so we started in the inspiration phase by connecting, and we had to think really carefully about how do we communicate and connect and encourage these nonprofits to work with us. And we did entice them with prize money. That was helpful. All nonprofits like money. But I will tell you, this video would show, I encourage you all to go to the website and watch the entire video, because Franklin did a masterful job of filming and putting that together. But we had, all the stakeholders were there and fully involved and in the process of hacking solutions to their problems. And it truly was amazing to watch. But it took very intentional and focused communication with that group to bring them along. As part of this work as well, and this kind of moving into the ideation phase, we're like, okay, we know what challenge we want to tackle. Now, how do we get everyone involved? Most lawyers do not have any clue what a hackathon is, really probably don't see any personal interest in being involved, and that's the primary group that our hacker organization is trying to reach right now in Nashville. And so we really had to focus on how do we encourage legal community members to come, not just the ones who already get it. And Franklin's going to talk to that point in just a moment, but that really became a primary focus. I'm going to jump to iteration really quickly because Franklin has a lot of great insight to share. The iteration point is this, and it's why I'm here to share this with you. We planned and executed this event, which did some great work, and I'm incredibly proud to have been a part of it. But the next time we do this, it's not going to be the same. We're going to iterate. We're going to learn from our mistakes. I hope that we can learn from successes and mistakes that you all have experienced out there. That's what I'm really interested in knowing, is what are other people doing, what's working, what's not, so we can learn from and share each other's iterations. I think that's how we're going to move forward and do the best work as this huge organic entity that we're becoming, loose and organic, not bureaucratic. So with that said, I'm going to let Franklin talk a little bit about why you're here. I mean, that's really what this is about, right?
So that was the main question. So as we already established, I was somebody that just showed up. So I didn't really have any prior involvement or planning or any understanding of exactly what a hackathon was. And that's kind of the challenge that I walked away with, was how can you make a hackathon or the hackathon model or any of those events related to Legal Hackers Group, how can you make those approachable to legal professionals? Because that's how I was entering into this environment. And the solution that I found and that I kind of came up with is education. By the video, you can tell my photography. I do all this content creation. I love to blog, and so it just kind of made sense. And I feel like that is one way that you can tap into this market and kind of expand your reach. Because as Kat said, like, you even were trying to figure out what is a hackathon and how do you organize it. Like, there's no hackathon in a box, if you will. And so that's kind of where I came about, and I think that's kind of one of the takeaways that we want you to have is you need to provide the resources. Like, you have at your disposal, you never know, like, you have a whole group of people, you never know what individuals are capable of. So this video came about because I didn't even plan it. I just happened to show up with my DSLR camera, and the photographer for that day never showed up. And so I hacked together a video afterwards, and so I didn't do any planning. And that's a skill set that I have. So I think that's another takeaway, is like, tap into the skill sets of the people that are in your group. It's outside of just being a developer, outside of just being a project manager, outside of just being an attorney. There are so many different skill sets. And I feel like the educational component is something that we can really come together. And that's another thing that I wanted to highlight and kind of encourage is the sharing of content. So all the photographs that I took, I decided to release into the public domain. You can do Creative Commons, whatever. Just consider that and put it up on Flickr or somewhere. Share the video so that other groups that are just starting out, that have never had a hackathon before, have never done any legal hackers event, they can have stock photos that are actually relevant and free, and you don't have to pay for them or worry about where they came from, you know. So that's kind of the encouragement that I want to have, is just think about the educational component and how whatever you're currently doing, or if you're attending something in another city, how can you take advantage of what's going on there and create educational content out of it. And everybody has a smartphone now. You can easily create a video on your smartphone. So just be creative.
Yes, and Franklin did an extraordinary job actually capturing the entire day in both image and video. I wanted to share real quickly, and then we're going to wrap up. I have no idea how we're doing on time, but the website. The website very much was crafted in order to provide really education to folks who didn't understand what a hackathon is, to encourage them to be involved. And so we have a very, very detailed fact section. There is information for sponsors. They're very important. That's like a whole nother audience you need to be thinking about and intentionally communicating with. We also planned an unconference, which happened, and that DAZA was very, very instrumental in helping us make that happen. So attorneys who came who really didn't understand what a hackathon was, we offered an unconference track so that they had something to do if they weren't ready to jump in with both feet in the hacking part, and we had people who participated in that. So we also had a boot camp the night before with a social hour. People very much enjoyed the social hour and the blockchain boot camp. So again, the point in sharing this is to, one, we're going to leave this live as a resource for other chapters who are interested in, hosting and executing a hackathon. This is one way that worked for us. Our next hackathon isn't going to look the same. We hope it's equally successful, but we're going to continue to iterate. And we invite all of you and everyone watching on the web to please share with us as well, because I think it's the connecting the dots that make this so much more powerful than what we're doing in our individual chapters. So. And I'm going to stop talking now. Franklin, any last words?
Questions?
So, questions?
How was your website?
Okay, I'm going to go back over here. So the question is, how is the website?
How was your website funded, and who built it?
I built the website, and I fund the website. So it's a kind of a creative outlet for me. I actually kind of thought through, with the help of a lot of other people, how things would work by putting it on a website. I know that sounds a little weird, but it's one of my creative outlets. And
You had two different websites. You have the hackathon website originally, and the
so we have
chapter
mclegalhackers.org, which is our hackers website, and then this is mclegalhackathon.org. And again, we're going to leave this live just as a resource for other people. And I built both of these sites on a platform called Strikingly. They're one-page scrolling sites. They're like $50 a year. I mean, it's pretty darn easy.
And then outside of that, we have a Music City Legal Hackers Slack channel, or Slack, whatever you call it.
Yeah, we also did a Slack channel. I'll add this. We also did a Slack channel for the hackathon and invited stakeholders and participants in like a month before the hackathon, so people could start sharing information about we shared the challenge proposals. The other thing that's on the website are all the challenge proposals that the stakeholders shared for the problems that we worked on at the hackathon. And that was great because people were able to start working and get data and do some work before we actually got together for the day of the hackathon.
And the Slack channel is actually still active, like even though the hackathon was months ago, just like a couple weeks ago, actually, probably like 2 weeks ago, there's still map data that's being shared with a local nonprofit so they can overlay it and that kind of thing.
Yes.
So it's an ongoing
so what we've
thing.
done, they're still working on
It's
the
awesome.
things. And I know Jameson's looking at me like there was supposed to be one question and you should stop talking now.
I was looking at it because I'm on the Slack channel and there was activity. It was awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Can we have one more question, or you want? Okay.
Can you briefly describe
There you go. So the people online can hear.
Can you briefly describe the project?
So the challenge, there actually were 5 different challenges posed by 5 different legal nonprofits. And I really can't tell you exactly what they were off the top of my head. They were fairly detailed. They're on the website still, the original challenge proposals. And so we ended up having over 50 people participate in the hackathon. So each problem had a group of about 10 people, including legal technologists and other professionals working on, and each group actually produced some kind of solution. Now, some were much more detailed than others, but you can go to mclegalhackathon.org and see the original challenge proposals.
All right.
Now I'm stopping. Thank you all.
Yeah.